Hey everyone, and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to explain what you need to know about veterans preference and how it can help you when you're applying for a federal job. Now, the first thing I want to start off with saying is that there is a huge amount of misconceptions regarding veterans preference. So when I went in the military, people were telling me, oh, you're guaranteed a job at the post office when you get out. Basically that kind of stuff, right? If you're a veteran, you'll automatically get a federal job over someone that isn't, right? And that is not necessarily the case. And there are a lot of powerful benefits that your military service does give you. And the first thing that I want to point out is that really when we think of veterans preference, there's really two separate types. So veterans preference in the strict sense of the word means that of everyone that applies for a job, everyone that's eligible to apply, veterans preference means that you get a certain amount of points above someone that's not a veteran, right? Now, that doesn't mean you're automatically going to get the job, right? Maybe they have way more qualifications than you do or something like that, but it does give you, other things equal, a slight boost in the rankings. Now, here's what most people don't understand. That is not the most powerful benefit that your military service gives you, because that is only once you've applied for a job. But being a veteran and having certain types of service gives you the ability to be considered and apply for more jobs that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. So really, when we think about veterans preference, it's really two separate things. It's special hiring authorities, which help you apply to jobs that aren't available for non-veterans. And then once you do apply for certain jobs, it helps you in that order of merit, kind of basically the ranking system that they have. So I want to kind of give you an example to help you out. So I'm just here on USA Jobs, and I'm scrolling through, and let's find a job here. Okay, so here is a supervisory physician, and we can see that it's open to surplus or displaced federal employees, former competitive service employees, accepted service employees, disabled people, Native Americans, and veterans preference. Now, here's the cool thing. This job is not open to the public. So when a job vacancy is announced, it will be eligible for certain kinds of people to apply, right? Depending on their previous work experience, their, as we see here, their tribal affiliation, whatever it may be. Now, this job is not open to the public. However, because it is open to veterans who have served 3 or more years, you being a veteran gives you the ability to apply for this job, which you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with once you apply getting selected to the position, but it does open you up to being able to apply for more positions. So, with that being said, I want to talk about special hiring authorities. And basically, a special hiring authority is something that allows a veteran to be appointed non-competitively to a certain position. Now, non-competitive obviously has advantages to that, right? So, veterans recruitment appointment, and to be eligible for that kind of non-competitive hiring authority, you have to have served in a war, be in receipt of a campaign badge, be a disabled veteran. It basically lists out the qualifications: 30% or more disabled veteran, Veterans Equal Opportunities Act. So this, like I said, there's a variety of different ones depending on the specific service that you did. Are you a disabled veteran? Did you have a campaign badge, right? So these things allow you to apply for jobs that just average people that haven't served in the military may not be eligible to do so. One thing I do want to mention is you can be eligible for more than one of these special hiring authorities. So one might only be open for VRA veterans, and another one might be open for VEOA eligible veterans. But let's suppose that you're a disabled veteran. So let's say you get your 30% rating. You could be eligible for a VRA appointment, a 30% or more disabled veteran appointment, a VEOA appointment, as well as, depending on how bad your disability is, if you go through the process and receive a Schedule A rating, you could be eligible for that as well. So having that gives you the ability to apply to a lot of different jobs. Now, what everyone typically thinks of veterans preference is once you do apply, they want to know how are they going to compete against other people, how is that veterans preference going to help them get a job. And the thing that I will say with that is that there are different levels of preference. So starting out at 0% preference, we have basically what's sometimes called the sole survivorship preference. And basically what this means is that you can read it here. If you were released or discharged from active duty by reason of being the only surviving child in a family in which the father or mother or one or more siblings was killed in the armed force, died, or is 100% permanent disabled. So this gives you preference at the 0% rating. 5-point preference, again, it lists certain criteria here. So just because you serve in the military and here's the biggest misconception, just because you serve does not automatically mean you get veterans preference. Your service has to meet specific characteristics, and that's what a lot of people mess up on. So to get that 5-point preference, for more than 180 days other than training, any part of which began on September 11th and ended on 2010. So if you served during that period for more than 100 days, you get the 5-point preference. Did you serve in the Gulf War? You get the 5-point preference. More than 180 days, which occurred between 1955 and 1976, or between these dates, or in a war campaign expedition for which a campaign medal or badge has been authorized. So, simply serving does not guarantee that you get these preferences. Your service has to meet certain criteria. So, in a war campaign or expedition for which a campaign medal or badge has been authorized. So, that's your 5-point preference, and then your 10-point preference if you served at any time and you have a service-connected disability or you received a Purple Heart. And then they even break it down further, CPS, CP, XP, TP, SSP. So that's the amount of preference that you get. Now, how does this actually apply? How do you fill out the forms? That's going to be the next part of the video. So what I want to do, and again, I want to make this, I want to go through an example because I really think that's the best way to do it. So I'm going to apply to a job that, let's see, let's find something that would kind of be somewhat reasonable. Alright, here, let's go with a purchasing agent because that would kind of fit with my business background, things like that. So this is the basic job description. It tells you where it's at. It tells you who this job is open to. And again, remember, veterans, that's the kind of category that I'm applying under. I couldn't apply for this if I was someone that hadn't served or did not meet one of these other classifications. So I'm going to go ahead and apply to this job, and I'll show you how everything works out here. So we're simply going to log in, and I'm not really trying to go through the process of showing you how to apply to the USA job in general, so I'm just going to kind of breeze through all of this stuff. This is just the background application. If you guys want a video of how to apply to a federal job, I can make that video, but for this one I'm specifically just trying to get to the part about veterans preference to show you how that works. Okay, so here we are. This is where your veterans preference comes into play. On your application, you will mark what type of preference you're claiming. So I do not claim veterans preference, right? So you could still be eligible to apply for the job as a veteran, right? But not to get the preference in the selection of those results. 0 point sole survivorship, 5% based on active duty in the armed forces. Now remember, like I said, there's different categories of 10%. So 10% for 30% or more, 10% preference based on being the widow or widower of a parent or deceased veteran. So again, even with 10%, 10-point preference, there's different kind of sub-rankings of that. So are you currently a veteran who is separated from active duty under honorable conditions and you have a rating of 30% or more? Yes, so we can click that. Are you currently employed by the agency? No. So remember, when we're talking about different categories of people that are eligible, this is the category for people that are currently in that agency. So let me just go ahead, I'll just breeze through this. Are you the parent of an individual who lost his life under honorable conditions? Remember, so it's trying to see out what kind of preference we have, basically. No. Am I the spouse of an armed services member? No. Current federal employee? No. Were you employed overseas as an appropriate fund employee? No. No. I'm just going to keep going through these because these do not apply to me here. Do you have severe physical, psychiatric, or mental disability? Again, you could be a veteran and you could have one of those disabilities. So you could be both a 30% disabled veteran and you could also qualify for a Schedule A appointment. That's going to require some documentation. It does not apply to me, so I can't show you how to fill that one out, but just know that it is an option for you. So I'm going to put no. No. And again, like you said, it's just asking all these questions to kind of qualify and see what you fit into. So, are you a veteran whose latest discharge was honorable and you served 3 or more years of active duty service? Yes. So again, here, simply serving those 3 active duty years, getting that honorable discharge qualifies you to apply the job. This is not giving you veterans preference. I kind of want to keep reiterating that. And then, are you a veteran who's separated from active duty under honorable and you're recently separated within the past 3 years, disabled during a war? So we're going to click yes to that as well. So That's kind of determining your basic eligibility. Again, I'm going to breeze through all of this because this is just the background qualifications for the job. I don't really need to show you me going through these because it's most likely I won't get this job anyway. I'm kind of just showing you for the demo here. So let me go ahead and take care of that. Okay, so we've taken care of the qualification questions as far as the job requirements, the job demands, things like that. This is where we're going to upload the documents that support our veterans preference. So when you claim veterans preference, there's a couple things you're going to need. The first is going to be your DD-214. So we will upload that. And then the other thing that you're going to need is your VA letter and your SF-15. Now, I will go through and explain all of those. So, DD-214, anyone that served, you guys know what that is. That is basically the document that says you served in the military, right? Now, the VA summary is a letter from the VA stating what percentage of disabled you are. And the way that you get that, you go to VA benefits, ebenefits.va.gov, and at the bottom of the page there's going to be something that says VA letters. Now you want to go to that, you want to click on that, and you can generate a disability letter. Now, for whatever reason, surprising, eBenefits is not working today, so I can't actually show you that, but this is where you would do it. You go to eBenefits, bottom of the page, VA letters, and then generate that. Now, that is your VA letter, but you also need an SF-15, and an SF-15 is the letter that's basically your application for this 10-point veterans preference. So you would basically just go through and fill it out, and then you would determine how you qualify for that 10-point preference. So are you qualifying under a Purple Heart? Are you qualifying under a service-connected disability of 10% or more? And then it tells you what documentation you need to support that. So let's suppose I'm applying for 10% or more disabled veterans. It says that I need A and C documentation, so I simply go down here and say, okay, documentation A is my documentation of service, DD-214, and C, which is my VA letter. So fill that out, save it to your desktop, get the VA letter, save it to your desktop, and then you are going to simply log into both of the, or when you log into USA Jobs, upload both of those. So again, the resume, everything like that is the job in general, but as far as getting your veterans preference, these are the documents you need. Your 214, your VA disability letter, and then your SF-15. Go ahead, and that is going to give you your veterans preference. So I know this is a little bit longer video, and there's so much more we could cover with USA Jobs, but I specifically wanted to help you guys out with understanding how veterans preference works. And remember, the key takeaway, veterans, being a military service member, a veteran, does not automatically mean you're going to be guaranteed a job. However, it can do two things for you. First, it can open doors to jobs that would not be available to you if you were not a veteran. Second, once you do apply to jobs, it can give you preference over other people who do not have that veteran status or whose service did not meet certain qualifications. So I hope you all found that video useful. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, anything more you want to know, just leave a question in the comments and I will do my best to get back and give you an answer. See you.